Coming up tonight on the news at 6.
There was just no way that we were going to be able to operate.
Staffing shortages prompt East Helena's Radley Elementary to move to distance learning for 2 weeks. Plus, Governor Steve Bullock releases his final budget proposal, but it likely faces amendments from the incoming Gianforte administration.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 6.
Good evening. Welcome to the News at 6. I'm Marian Davidson. Thanks for joining us. Montana reported more than 800 additional COVID-19 cases today, bringing the statewide total to more than 49,000 cases. There are now more than 17,000 active cases in the state. 10 more deaths have been reported since last night, meaning 546 Montanans have died from COVID-19 complications. Now, as a reminder, MTN numbers do vary from the state since we also track data reported by local health departments. And one East Helena school is switching back to all remote learning because multiple teachers are out due to COVID-19 concerns. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian tells us what is next for the East Helena School District.
East Helena Public Schools leaders say in light of the number of teachers who aren't able to come in, they won't be able to continue in-person instruction at Radley Elementary for at least 2 weeks. Superintendent Ron Whitmoyer says over the weekend they learned 2 teachers at Radley had tested positive for COVID-19. Several more were either being tested or reported experiencing symptoms.
We were hitting 5, 6, 7 staff members that were going to be out, that there was just no way that we were going to be able to operate. And more importantly, no way to be protective of human health within the building.
All other district schools are continuing their operations for now. Whitmoyer says in the coming weeks they'll be in regular contact with Lewis and Clark Public Health to determine when they can return to in-person classes at Radley. They hope to be back November 30th, the Monday after Thanksgiving.
This will be a great opportunity to stop the spread. If we take the 2 weeks off, let it run its course, then we should be able to restart again.
Whitmoyer says East Helena families have done a good job slowing the spread by keeping kids home when they're sick, and the district has an obligation to do the same. This announcement comes a week after Helena Public Schools leaders reported they were facing significant staff shortages because many employees were quarantined or caring for people on quarantine. As of last Thursday, before the most recent cases connected to Radley, the state of Montana had reported 12 COVID-19 cases associated with East Helena Public Schools. As of Monday, Helena Public Schools had reported a total of 124 cases, including 58 in the last 2 weeks. In East Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
The East Helena School District currently has just a third of their usual number of available substitutes. They have hired 5 more teachers to help with distance learning and fill in person when needed. All right, now for a look at our weather, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
Well, good Monday evening, everybody. That was a wild weekend as far as the wind goes. Can't remember wind quite that strong here for just about everybody, especially Friday night and Saturday morning. Wow, but we could use a little break. How about a little warm-up on the way? Yeah, that's coming tomorrow, although the warm-up does not last very long. That warmer air moves off down to the south, but I do not see any frigid air and blizzards like we saw the last couple of weekends here anytime soon. So we get a little break. Enjoy the quiet weather, Montana, while we have it. We do have a little minor mix of some rain and snow and also some ice in parts of the state tonight. Let's take a closer look at that coming up. Much milder air moving in for tomorrow. Enjoy it. Will be a good 10 to even 20 degrees above average. And how about a weekend without stormy weather? Of course, this last weekend we had all of that wind. The prior 2 weekends, blizzards, record snow. I'll let you know about this upcoming weekend. That's upcoming.
All right, thanks for that, Curtis. Well, today, Governor Steve Bullock unveiled his final proposed 2-year budget for the state, but it will not be one that he gets to implement. The 2-term Democratic governor is leaving office in less than 2 months, and the next governor, Republican Greg Gianforte, will sign the next budget. Bullock said his proposed budget does not raise any taxes and balances the budget with a $250 million cushion at the end of June 2023. Now, to do that, Bullock would transfer $75 million out of a budget rainy day fund. His budget would also freeze in-state college tuition, spend $10 million on a new publicly funded preschool program, and spend almost $500 million on infrastructure projects across the state. Now, Gianforte will draft his own amended budget and is likely to have different priorities. During the campaign, he said he wants to freeze state government spending and use any surplus to reduce taxes. Bullock said his strong management of the state budget has enabled Montana to weather the coronavirus storm without having to slash government services.
This is a budget that does not necessitate any cuts to government programs and services relied on by Montanans. If the next administration and legislature choose to cut government services, it'll be based on ideology, not based on necessity.
Also hold large majorities at the 2021 legislature, which will help craft and approve the next state budget. And also, earlier today, Montana Attorney General Tim Fox announced a multi-million-dollar settlement with tobacco companies over funds owed to the state and protection for the next decade of payments. MTN's John Riley reports.
The Montana Department of Justice has secured $49 million plus interest on funds owed to the state from tobacco companies. The settlement stems from a lawsuit filed in April and will also prevent those companies from challenging future payments to Montana through 2030. Montana Attorney General Tim Fox called it a historic win for Montanans.
No other state in the Union has received 100% of what was withheld by the defendants under a similar claim. No other state has achieved a remedy protecting future payments in full for 10 plus years and an agreement to not withhold funds under similar allegations in perpetuity.
In 1998, Montana entered into an individual settlement agreement with the big tobacco companies after decades of deception regarding the health hazards of smoking. Rather than join other states' litigations, Montana filed suit in-state, which meant challenges also had to happen in-state. Fox says the credit goes to all the Montana attorneys general who oversaw 2 decades of litigation against the big tobacco companies, and the dedicated staff that worked tirelessly to represent Montana. Millions of dollars in funds the state receives from the companies every year play a significant role. They fund children's health care, suicide prevention, and smoking cessation programs.
The settlement funds are particularly important to the Department of Public Health and Human Services. This money is key in its efforts to help people quit smoking and to prevent Montana youth from becoming addicted in the first place.
The Attorney General says that owed funds should be paid by the end of the year, which means they'll be available for the governor's budget and the 2021 legislature. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Fox's office estimated the total value of the settlement at well over $100 million. And still ahead on the news at 6, what one Montana ski resort is doing to adapt to COVID-19.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the news at 6. Showdown Ski Resort is making some COVID-19 related changes this season. Opening day is December 11th. The lodge will be limited to 75% capacity and masks will be required. A monitor will be in every room to make sure capacity is not exceeded. There are other changes too, like more outdoor seating, moving some services outside, and adding a food takeout window.
I think the main message is just to hang in there with us. We need a lot of cooperation from our guests. It is going to be a different winter up here at Showdown. We've made a lot of accommodations to our normal operations.
Pass holders are also asked to upload their pass photos online to avoid long lines of people who are waiting to get their photo taken at the resort. Now with another look at the weather, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
Yeah, do your part. We want to keep those lifts running here this winter. And skiing kind of is the definition of social distancing. Taking a look at the next storm that may help out some of the ski areas. I'll have more plus weather-wise in the forecast next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
All right, welcome back. It's only the middle of November, and if it feels like we've already had a winter's worth of snow already, well, you're not that far off. In this week's Weatherwise, the amount of snow for parts of the state has already been historic. It has been a snowy start to the season for most of Montana. For a state that is familiar with snow, the early season accumulation has been record-breaking. With 41.6 inches of snow so far in Great Falls, it's the snowiest start to the season ever. The second snowiest start for Great Falls was just last year. In a typical year, Great Falls averages 63.5 inches for the entire season. Helena has already had nearly 29 inches of snow, making this the second snowiest start to the season. It's not even December yet, and the capital city has almost had more snow this season than all of last year. Helena averages about 40 inches of snow a year. Early season snow has been plentiful in the mountains as well. Current snowpack for the state is well above normal. The Rocky Mountain Front and the Sun, Teton, and Marias Basin has a snow water equivalent that's 271% of normal. With the exception of the Madison and Gallatin basins, which are doing well, everywhere else in the state has above normal snowpack. With stronger La Niña conditions expected through the winter, seasonal snowpack should continue to be above average. Hefty early season snow in the mountains can be a good early sign looking ahead to the next fire season. And La Niña through the winter likely means more snow in the lower elevations as well. When all is said and done, the winter of 2020-2021 could be one of the snowiest on record. And now, you're a little more weatherwise. Yep, welcome to Montana. Taking a look at Great Falls right now. A lot of that snow melting, and prior to this little warm up here today, boy, we had a lot of wind blowing around that snow on Friday night, and Saturday. 42 right now in Great Falls. Enjoy that light wind out there because the wind, it does come back here tomorrow. 40 degrees in Helena with a light west wind, 3 miles per hour, just about calm out there. Little cooler air the farther north you go in the state here. There's warmer air coming up from the south, and as that warm air runs over the top of that colder air, we're starting to see a little precipitation across the north central part of the state. A wind, again, what a relief after all of that wicked wind over the course of the weekend here. There's some of that precipitation again out here north central Montana, where we've got green, that would be rain. Where you've got the white, that would be snow, and the pink here is where there is some ice, some freezing rain, maybe a little sleet, and it does not take a lot of freezing rain, a lot of precipitation here to kind of coat the ground in just a little ice. So mainly the high line is where we will have some tricky travel, and right up along the Rocky Mountain front right there. But most of this should stay to the north of Great Falls, around Choteau, maybe a few drops mixing in with some flakes here. Conrad, places like Chester and Inverness and Big Sandy, Shelby could have some freezing rain here tonight, as again, the warmer air is trying to push its way up here throughout most of Montana. There's the warm front, and it's just pushing through the Helena area. No, the temperatures aren't going to skyrocket up just yet, but we will see some warmer air coming in for tomorrow with highs in the 50s, maybe even 60 degrees. Across the country, very quiet. It's just a couple of mixed rain and snow showers from the Great Lakes through the northeast. So this big storm, it is a powerful storm. Most of the energy and moisture will stay off here of the Pacific Northwest coast and move up into British Columbia. So for tomorrow, Montana pops into the warm sector. We'll have partly cloudy skies. The breeze will come back here, a little stronger tomorrow than today, but it should be a pretty warm day for November with, again, highs in the 50s and the 60s. Now, a weak front will come through on Wednesday with a couple of rain showers in the lower elevations. Most locations will be dry. There will be a few mountain snow showers as well. Thursday, slightly cooler air, a couple of snow showers, especially in the mountains down the Continental Divide and around Helena. But heading into Friday, looking very quiet. How about a quiet weekend for a change? Saturday, looking partly cloudy, maybe a mountain snow shower, and more quiet weather continues for Sunday. Enjoy it, because the following weekend, of course, is Thanksgiving, and yeah, we may have some busier weather by about that point. So the snow confined to the mountains here along and west of the Continental Divide. So you could give those snow shovels, snow plow, snow blower a little rest here over the next several days. Tonight, a little mix of that rain and snow and ice. Browning, East Glacier, Cut Bank, Conrad, out through Chester, even Fort Benton might have just a little in the way of some raindrops or some freezing drizzle around Loma and Big Sandy as well. Havre could be just a little icy tonight into tomorrow morning. Dry northeast Montana above the freezing point in the warm air around the Lewistown area, and even Helena lows tonight in the upper 20s and the lower 30s. Here's the forecast for tomorrow, Tuesday. Look at this, warmth 50s and 60s. Great Falls almost 60 degrees. A couple of mixed rain and snow showers in the higher terrain in northwest Montana, and it will be windy, but overall a pretty warm day here for the middle of November. Wednesday, here comes this weak front. Couple of rain showers possible in the afternoon around Helena. Highs still above average in the 40s and the 50s. Into Thursday, there may be a couple of snow showers, especially in the mountains around Helena. Some snow showers down there around Bozeman. A little cooler and windy, but temperature still in the 40s. It's nothing compared to what we've dealt with already this season. And then Friday, TGIF, looking at mostly sunny skies and highs close to average in the 40s. Here's the 7-day forecast for Helena. This is a fairly quiet, one of the quietest 7-day forecasts I've put together here for the last several weeks. 55 for the high tomorrow, 53, a stray sprinkle or two on Wednesday, a few flakes of snow Wednesday night into Thursday. Accumulation should be very light, and then very quiet weather for Friday through the weekend, highs in the low 40s. Great Falls, look at that warmth the next few days. The wind is back though, and will cool down into the 40s for highs this weekend.
Still ahead on the news at 6, a preview of who could be the next head of the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the news at 6. In tonight's Montana Ag Network report, Lane Nordlund tells us who President-elect Joe Biden may select to lead the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Speculation of who will lead USDA in a Biden administration is circulating across farm and ranch country. Obvious potentials to lead the Department of Agriculture include defeated lawmakers who have served in Congress. On the top of the list is former U.S. Senator Heidi Heitkamp, a North Dakota Democrat who lost re-election in 2018. Seen as a moderate, she broke from her party on controversial issues such as her support for the Keystone XL pipeline and voting for President Trump's EPA nominees. Heitkamp served on the Senate Agriculture Committee from 2013 to 2019 and was reportedly considered by President Donald Trump to head USDA under his administration. Another prominent name in agriculture in the Beltway is House Ag Chairman Collin Peterson. The Minnesota Democrat was soundly defeated after serving for 30 years in Congress in the 2020 election. Peterson is respected by agriculture groups for his work to bridge the gap between Democrats and Republicans on important issues impacting rural America. Other possibilities include former USDA official Michael Skuse, now Delaware's Ag Secretary, Krista Hardin, the former Deputy Secretary and Chief of Staff to former USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack. Others included are current Representative Marcia Fudge of Ohio, Representative Sherry Bustos of Illinois, and Land O'Lakes CEO Beth Ford. More names are expected to be added to that list in the coming weeks. Reporting, Lane Nordlund, MTN News.
All right, and we'll wrap things up here on the news at 6 when we come back.
As news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the news at 6, and you know we save some of our strangest stories for last, and this is definitely one of them. A Belgian racing pigeon sold at auction on Sunday for an astounding record price, $1.9 million. The female pigeon is named New Kim, and she is worth her weight in gold. Actually, much, much more than that. The co-owner of the auction house, Pigeon Paradise, that sold the bird, held her as the 2-week online auction ended. A wealthy Chinese fan of pigeon racing put down the record price for the Belgian-bred bird. During a frantic last half hour of the auction, the two Chinese bidders drove up the price as they bid against each other. The final bid was more than 4 times the previous record price for a Belgian racing pigeon. Bet you didn't know Belgian racing pigeons were such a hot commodity. That does it for the news at 6. We'll be back here tonight at 10 with your latest headlines.